Another landmark case decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1988 is Hustler Magazine Incorporated v. Falwell. This case was decided by a unanimous Supreme Court, and it was the Rehnquist Court at the time. I will be very careful with my language throughout this historical and educational video. Here's what happened in this case. We have a magazine owner, and he ran a story in his magazine in November of 1983 that had a featured parody advertisement in it that included certain implications or ideas that were very offensive to Mr. Falwell. Now, the ad was based off of another kind of ad that had previously been done regarding a different situation. So this was a parody, and it was stated in the advertisement that this was a parody. Now, Mr. Falwell was very distraught by the information that had been included in this advertisement that had been placed in the magazine. He sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress because of the content that was in the ad. Now, Mr. Falwell was a very well-known public figure, a minister, and he felt that this had a significant detrimental effect on his reputation. All the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court it went. Now, at the lower court, Mr. Falwell had won a jury verdict for the emotional distress claim. But the question to the U.S. Supreme Court was, does the First Amendment's freedom of speech protection extend to the making of patently offensive statements about public figures, resulting perhaps in their suffering of emotional distress? And the unanimous U.S. Supreme Court came back in and said, I'm sorry, but if you are a public figure, you are not going to be able to recover intentional infliction of emotional distress damages without showing that the offending publication contained a false statement of fact, which was made with actual malice. This was the key. The court had added that the interest of protecting freedom of speech under the First Amendment was more important than the state's interest in protecting public figures from patently offensive speech. So as long as the speech could not reasonably be construed to state actual facts about a subject, and in this case, they said in this ad, there is no way for anyone to really believe that this was a factual piece of information. So the case was thrown out.